You guys ready?
Ready.
All right. So hello, everyone. Today we have a special edition of Bell to Bell, requested, or some would say forced, by Miss Sabrina Miller. Two great friends and great teachers are retiring from our beloved school system. You may know them from their excellent work with our exceptional children, but let's welcome Miss Angela Murrell and Claudia Haddock to class. Yay! And that's where if we had an audience, everybody would cheer, but we don't. I like to start with the bell ringer, as I did in my classroom. So I just want to say congratulations on your well-deserved retirement. I'm very jealous. And what I want to know first off is, what is the first thing you plan to do on your first day off?
Personally, I hope to sleep in late. She took my answer because I have always said the first day off, I'm taking my phone off the hook, I'm locking my doors, and I will be in the bed all day.
Yes, ma'am. I am so jealous. I'm even more jealous now. All right, we'll move on quickly, as Miss Claudia wants, to our essential questions. So if you could just tell us a little bit about how you came to teach at Jones Senior.
Andrew, do you want to start? You want me to start? It doesn't make a difference. Well, I would start. How did I come to Jones Senior? I was working in Craven County, and the opportunity came that Craven County didn't have a preschool at the time of the school I was working at. They didn't have a preschool, and my daughter was beginning to come to go to preschool that following year. And I got the opportunity. The call came and said they had an opening, and I just came, interviewed for the position, got it. And it's because my daughter was coming to preschool, the reason I came back to Jones County, because they had a preschool.
Was that Vondi?
That was Rondi.
And this full disclosure, I am well connected with Miss Claudia because Travonda and I go way back to her basketball days. She's still one of my favorites. All right, Miss Angela, how did you come to teach at Jones Senior?
Well, my story is a little bit different. I came to teach at Jones Senior by way of, I guess you would call it a saving grace, as a matter of fact. Um, Sherman and I was in Fayetteville. He was in the military, and my mother had lost her eyesight, uh, and she was on dialysis. And so I moved back home to take care of her for about 4 years. And during that 4 years, my mother passed in 1995, and I sort of didn't know what to do with my time. And so a good friend of my mother's, Miss Joyce Flowers, and Miss Margie Fields thought I was into a form of a depression state. So that's how I became a EC teacher. I started out substituting and being a teacher assistant, and they saw something within me and taught me into going back and get certified. So that's my story.
And I've said it many episodes that how important mental health is. So I applaud you for that. All right, that got really deep and heavy. We'll move on to, who was your favorite teacher growing up, and how did that teacher influence your style and educational philosophy?
Well, personally, I had my mother's sister, Creola Warner, was a elementary teacher. And so she wouldn't let us call her Aunt Creola. She made us call her Miss Warner. And so she always had this motto: trust few, love many, learn to paddle your own canoe. So I guess I took that after her. That was my role model.
Fantastic.
I can say that I had three great elementary teachers that influenced me. One of them was our um, a former employee here, Brenda Bryant's mother. Miss Jarman was my third grade teacher. Miss Shack was my first grade teacher, and Miss Smith was my fifth grade teacher. Those were some wonderful ladies. I always wanted to be like Miss Shack. It was something that I saw in her and the way she handled kids. And, back then, um, we couldn't do anything without our parents finding out before we got home. Everybody in Jones kind of knew everybody. But Miss Shack would wrap her arms around us, and she was so much compassion and love. And Miss Jarman and Miss Smith, I always wanted. I said, when I grow up, I want to be just like Miss Shack. My first grade teacher, that she gave me that impression at the first grade, and I really love those three teachers in elementary school. And I always said I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to be a teacher.
Oh, we done made Miss Angela nervous. She's fanning herself.
You got one of
Good
them
gracious.
boys, Mr. Parker.
How do you hope your students will remember you and your class?
Hmm. Well, as far as I'm concerned, I've had several students to say, "I'm gonna miss you. Um, you was kind. You was," and I said, "Oh, you just telling me that because I always was strict." I, I tried to be strict with, even when I was in self-contained, because I
Mhm.
said everybody can learn from something, regardless of their ability. Um, I was taught that when I was working with the severe and profound students. Um, no matter how low you are, you can learn. And so I think my students will remember me as being strict to a point, but I was caring.
Mhm.
I always told them I wouldn't be so hard on you if I didn't care. I want you to be successful because your success depends on my retirement.
And here we are at retirement.
That's right. Somebody out there working so I can get a retirement check. That is so true.
Okay, as loving, kind, understanding. And like Ms. Haddock just stated, you always carry that perception that all students can learn, no matter what their disabilities is.
Well, I definitely feel like you guys are going to be remembered that way. And so flip side of that a little bit, how do you think other teachers are going to remember you now that you're retiring? You mentioned Miss Bryant earlier. I still have fond memories of her. How do you feel other teachers will remember you? Like, or what do you hope they remember as far as your teaching career goes?
They probably say, I'm glad she's out of here. Um,
Nobody's going to say that.
I don't know. I try to treat everybody like I want to be treated. Um, I've met some teachers that, kind of touched the nerve or something like that, but, I try to show composure, let it pass. We're all in here for the kids. And I hope they remember me as just being one that's being honest, dedicated to what I have to do for the kids, and being a get along person.
Mhm. That's hard because some people can't handle honesty, and so, but honesty is important in teaching because we can't improve for ourselves or for our students if you're not honest with yourself.
That's true. And see, I like for someone to tell me, well, you didn't do that. And I've had a lot of teachers, especially in IEP meetings. Some of them I had was in there so much they knew the process, so
Mhm.
they would help me out along the way. How did you miss that? How did you did this? And I needed that support. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate the teachers I've worked with.
All right, Miss Angela.
Well, I think that most teachers will remember me by my smile
Yes, yes.
You
because
definitely brighten up a room when you're in there.
I smile all the time, no matter what I'm going through, because a smile will take you a long ways. It does not matter that, it doesn't take much to smile. A frown gives you all those wrinkles, but when you smile, it lets the world know that, everything's okay. And I hope that my colleagues remember me by my smile and my spirituality, and knowing that, today may be bad, tomorrow is never promised. So maybe it'll be better.
I got
Yep.
to learn to smile like you. I don't like to smile. People always say, "What's wrong with you?" I don't like to smile. I'm just always just playing me.
Just serious.
Yeah, I'm just serious. Come to work. That's what I'm supposed to be doing, working.
And okay, last question for the essential questions would be, why is the Exceptional Children's Program important, or like the most important aspect of our school and our community?
I think because they're overlooked a lot. A lot of people do not know that their potential. They leave them behind. Just because you mentioned the word EC, they look down at students and say, "Oh, they they're below us," but they are human too, especially the lower level. They all need the same attention as a normal person would, you know.
Mhm.
And I feel like exceptional children has just been put on the back burner, but they're human, they're people, and they need just as much respect as everybody else. And I was told a long time ago that they just learn at a slower process than anybody else. They can learn. They will learn if they have the right person in place to help them.
I read something one time, it said that all flowers bloom, they just bloom at different times.
That's true. That's true. That's the way our kids are.
Hmm.
I, I had a story that I worked with the principal over in Craven County. And I love to tell this. I worked with a principal over in Craven County, and I was in the severe profound room. And he came in one day, and the teacher said that, "Oh, he never comes over here in this section. He never comes over in this section because he don't like us." So I sat down one day, and we was talking casually, and I asked him. I said, "Well, why don't you come by my classroom?" And he said, "Miss Haddock, I don't know how to deal with those kids.
Mm.
I don't know how to deal with those kids. They're over there, but I don't know." I said, and I don't want to call his name, but I told him, I said, "You know what? They're kids too.
Hmm.
They're just like regular children. They just have a different way of showing, how they live. Some of them may not be able to talk." So I was really blessed because before that year was out, he stayed in my room. He got attached to those kids, and he said, "Miss Hatter, I'm so glad we had the conversation because I did not know." I said, "Just treat them like people."
Hmm.
Yeah. So I really love telling that story because he was a great principal. He really was. He cared for the students, but like you said, he just didn't know how to react to them because he had never been around a lot of lower level kids.
And if you're uncomfortable with something or someone, you need to experience to get that comfort. And that's something I'll brag on you guys about, is at our school, I've always noticed that our students, how well they interact with each other. Like I think of Chantal and all these, like there was never any bullying. It was always very open and protective. And
Mhm.
I mean, I loved it. Like my sons rode on the exceptional bus when they were younger, and they grow, like the more, like you're saying, the more you have experience, the more you understand there is
That's
no real difference. I mean, there's little differences in everybody, but these are people that need love and attention just like everybody else.
and I wish the world could see that because I've had one really bad experience in my life that I was so furious. I had a group of students um, that we took on a field trip, and I took them to Burger King in New Bern, and there was a family there. I mean, man, his wife, and had two little children. I'll never forget. And I came in with about six students. He looked at those students, and he could tell that they was, a little different, special. And he looked at those students, and when we was about to sit down, well, he gathered up his family, and they had, I guess, just began to eat. He gathered up everything, told them, "Let's go. We don't have to be sitting here with this." That was so hurtful to me because he looked at these people as we can't be around them and not looking at them as their people.
And the sad part is there's nothing wrong with you and your students. The problem there lies in him and his perception of the world.
That was it. Now, that's the one bad experience I've had in my life dealing with exceptional children program that I hate it to this day that happened. But the kids didn't know any better, because they were the lower level. They didn't know any better, and they just went on. But I could tell.
Right.
I could tell.
I'm sure that mama bear kicked in a little bit.
Oh yeah. So you don't want to know the words I said, but
Miss Angela, do you wanted to add anything, or did Miss Claudia pretty thoroughly answer that?
Cover everything.
Yes, ma'am.
And I just want to say that I have never had a bad experience. Even at Jones Senior, everybody came in and loved those kids.
Yes, ma'am. I've always thought that was special about our school. And granted, I don't have a lot of experience outside of our school system, but it's just amazing. And I know they've been voted homecoming queen, and I mean, all sorts of just loving recognition for our EC kids.
And
Okay.
we always got in trouble about so many people used to come in our room and be in our room all the time. But that was because the kids were just so loving and everybody wanted to experience what they had to offer.
Oh, you were getting a hug if you walked by one of them.
that's the truth. Two things.
Okay, so I normally have a segment called Sprint to the Parking Lot because, we try to leave, we try to get home, and people stop us with crazy questions. Well, this time we're not just stopping you from the parking lot, we're stopping you from getting home for good with retirement. So your aim is to answer them, get through them. You can try to get through them as fast as you can, but I'm gonna throw the crazy questions at you and whomever can answer. If you both want to answer, that's fine. If just one of you wants to answer, that's fine. You're picking a good year to retire. This has been a crazy year. What's the craziest thing about this year that you experienced?
Having to wear those masks.
Can't
And
stand
not
them.
seeing all of my kids.
Right.
That's the hard part for me, not seeing all my kids.
I mean, as an educator, you're expecting to see your kids every day.
Right,
That's
right,
true.
right.
That's
And I mean, not seeing them through the Zoom and all the other platforms, but that physical contact, because we thrived on that physical contact.
That's true. I guess we started off with 2 days, no days, 2 days, and not seeing the kids. You kind of miss them. And then when they got here, you say, "I wish should have went." Edit that.
There will be no cuts. What advice can you give your fellow teachers to help our students reach their full potential? And it can be brief advice, or you can, get on your soapbox if you want to.
That somebody said, love and understanding.
A little bit of grace goes a long way, I feel.
Yes, a little bit of grace. That's right.
Be honest and be true to them. That's what I say. Be honest and be true.
Yes, ma'am. All right. So what advice can you give your fellow teachers about staying sane before they get to retirement?
Pray.
Yes, right. Much prayer is needed.
Daily devotionals always helps.
Every day is different. Close out that day. Whatever happened yesterday is gone. Start a new day off fresh.
That is easier to say than do, but it's so important.
It is. And it takes training, it takes practice. You got to.
Just let it be. I mean, you can't get it back. What do you think you'll miss the most about teaching or not coming to school every day?
I'm gonna miss those hugs from those babies. And I call them my babies, even though they're not babies, but they will always be my babies.
Okay. We'll make sure Sherman gives you extra hug.
Oh, Lord.
I guess I'm gonna miss the kids, and I'm gonna miss my staff. I mean, especially the ones that was with me at the middle school for so many years and everything. I'm really gonna miss the staff at middle school.
All right. What will you definitely not miss about teaching?
Behavior. Behavior. One child will be definitely glad I'm not here, but behavior. That's- oh, and IEPs.
There you go.
The meetings was going to be my thing.
Do not mention the letters IEP ever again to me.
Your alphabet will have 23 letters from now on. Let's see. What do you look forward to being able to do now that you're retired and you know you don't have to be up early? Like, what are some things you're looking forward to doing with your retirement?
Me getting back to reading, I love to read, and it's been a chore trying to balance that time with doing schoolwork and my personal reading. So
Mhm.
I enjoy reading.
As an English teacher, that makes my heart happy.
I have no idea. I'm lost.
Well, that might be a good thing. You don't have to worry about it. So you don't have to worry about this schedule. And Miss Angela, your answer leads right into my next question. If you guys are going to write a book about your career, what would the title be?
The Shenanigans of Jones Senior High School.
That's a great word.
I don't know. If I had to write a book.
Just the title. You don't have to write the whole book right now.
Yeah, if I had to do a title, I don't know. This. Whirlwind. Whirlwind.
Whirlwind. Oh, I like that one.
Mhm.
What is your best classroom management tip?
Be firm. Be firm. You can be loving, but you can be firm.
Yes, I'll say that.
Well, being firm and having strict and structure doesn't mean you don't love them. And like
Right.
sometimes
Right.
because you love them, you have to be firm with them.
Right. Right.
It's like
And
I
I
used to
always give,
tell Deandre Barfield, if y'all remember him, and he even mentioned it to me the other day. He was on the sidelines at a football game. He was not doing so great in my class. And I told him that I loved him enough to fail him. And, then went into the reasons behind that. And he said that always stuck with him. And, it made him work harder because he didn't want to disappoint his teachers and realize that he had talents that needed to kind of be out there. And he couldn't do that if he wasn't doing it in the classroom.
That's true.
and make your expectations known. Let them know what you.
Oh, yeah. If they don't know what you want out of them, how are they supposed to give you what you want? Okay, so when August rolls around and it's the first day of school, a lot of people say they don't even kind of feel retirement until it's August and they should be going back to school. So August rolls around, it's that first day of school time. How do you think you're going to feel?
I'm probably gonna feel sad because I won't be out buying no school clothes because I love to shop.
You can still buy clothes when you're retired. I believe. I don't think that's.
She'll be
No,
buying.
no.
She
Show
will be buying clothes, believe me.
no
Yeah,
clothes.
the Gucci store, the Louis store.
She'll be buying clothes. I
No
don't,
clothes.
I know I feel sad, so my plans is to set the date that they start back to school.
Just a reminder, Jones Senior High School staff, there will be a meeting in the cafeteria at 10 o'clock. Jones Senior High School staff, we do have a staff meeting in the cafeteria at 10 o'clock. Thank you.
We are almost done.
I just want to get up that morning and sit on my porch and watch the buses go by.
Wave. Have fun. Okay, so last question for the parking sprint to the parking lot. Will you be back to substitute?
Probably so. Yes.
That way you can get a little dose of it at a time.
Because I'm curious to see what's going to happen next year. I'm kind of interested in this follow up with my students anyway.
Mm-hmm. Miss Angela, you gonna be on the substitute call list when I need to miss school?
Probably.
All
Look
right.
for my name.
The last question, our exit ticket, since we have a meeting to get to, that thing I said I will not miss when I'm retired. So your exit ticket is if you just had one moment to leave some advice or a message to all our viewers or to the world, what would that one message, like if there's only one takeaway from this interview that you want them to know about Angela or Claudia, What is that message?
Be true to yourself.
Okay, excellent advice.
And if you don't love the kids, get out of education.
Amen. That is our podcast. That is our final bell. It has been wonderful. I hope it wasn't too scary. You were worried, Miss Claudia.
It was all right.
It was all right.
It was good. It was good.
She takes what I do and she dismisses it. Do you see that?
Love it. I love it. I had
we
to go
will-
back and look at the other podcasts.
We love you. We will miss you. And I hope you sub, if nothing else, so we can say hello and say hi. But that's it. That's our show. Thank you so much. And we will see you guys next time.
Thank you, Mr. Parker.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
But it's a work day, so everybody's walking around. There you go, Tara. Get her right.
I don't know why Mr. Parker and Miss Murrell and Miss Sabrina.
I don't know.
It's Miss Sabrina's fault.
Miss Sabrina.
That's Miss Sabrina's fault.
She told me that you guys were just raring to do this.
She did, huh?
Yep. I'll read you the email. Let me see if I can find it.
So we're going to choke after a while. It's our last day, so we don't have to worry about anything.
Exactly.